Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mia Tiffany, and today we are continuing our month with Marilyn with the classic romantic comedy, The 7-Year Itch. Okay, so before we get started, I would like to shout out my Golden Oscar patrons. Thank you all so much for becoming a VIP Tiffany Club member and supporting the channel. And if you're interested in becoming a VIP member, I have the link in the description box below, and also it is on my banner on the channel's homepage. Okay, so The 7-Year Itch was released in 1955, directed by Billy Wilder, which is a favorite on this channel, starring Marilyn Monroe and Tom Ewell, with other notable performances by Evelyn Keyes, Sony Tufts, and Oscar Homolka. All right, on to a quick synopsis of the film. So it says, when his family goes away for the summer, a hitherto faithful husband with an overactive imagination is tempted by a beautiful neighbor. It sounds like already this is going to be like super funny, so I'm super excited to get into this. So at this point, we are going to get into some historical background. For those of you who want to jump right onto the film reaction, go for it. But for those of you who want to stay, we're going to get right into it. Okay, so The 7-Year Itch was originally a 1952 stage play written by George Axelrod, and the screen adaptation was actually written by Billy Wilder himself and George Axelrod. They both collaborated on the adapted screenplay. Now, much of the film's suggestiveness was censored by the strict censors of the 1950s, which hindered a lot of Billy Wilder's ideas, but also a lot of his artistic freedoms. So for this reason, this film, though it was a Billy Wilder film, it wasn't as good as Billy Wilder could have made it. One thing also that was really difficult behind the scenes was Marilyn's continued tardiness and what was going on in her personal life. It was really affecting this production. In fact, this production exceeded its budget while being filmed. However, that took care of itself at the box office because this film generated $6 million for 20th Century Fox. According to the numbers.com, it's equivalent to $109,920,000, which I don't know if the numbers are right there because it sounds like that's a lot of money, but that is according to the numbers.com. Okay, so on to some interesting facts, and like in the last video, the interesting facts are going to be targeted a lot more towards Marilyn's personal life, just because there was a lot going on during this time. So like I said, many things were happening in Marilyn's personal life that really affected the filming of The 7-Year Itch. One of those things was her marriage to Joe DiMaggio. Now, the marriage had already been strained due to their careers moving in very different directions. Marilyn was just getting bigger and getting more famous and more attention, while Joe DiMaggio had been on his third year of stepping away from the game. Now, Joe really wanted a traditional marriage to Marilyn in terms of having her being a doting wife and her being, coming home to her, having a full meal ready, having children and her taking care of the children. He really wanted that lifestyle with Marilyn, but unfortunately, due to her, star status in Hollywood, it was very clear that he was not going to get his way. And this really was starting to become a big problem in their relationship. Now, all of this tension, all of this strain on their relationship really came to a head on the morning of September 15th, 1954. That was the day that they were shooting the iconic Delicious Breeze scene in The 7-Year Itch. And that's the scene that we all remember Marilyn from, the white dress being lifted by the breeze. That was the day that they were going to set it, or they were going to film it. So on that day, Joe had been on set, and somehow the word had gotten out that Marilyn was going to be, quote, photographed with her skirts blowing up almost like in the funhouse at Coney on Lexington Avenue, end quote. On the morning of shooting, there was a crowd that was beginning to form during this particular moment, and it was a crowd mostly made up of men. And when I say a crowd, I don't mean like 40 or 50 people. I mean like 1,500 plus people were coming in droves on top of 150 news reporters. Like, this was a big situation. Now, at first, it was lighthearted fun. Marilyn was having so much fun filming this and just enjoying the crowd and all of that. As Wilder kept taking more takes, the crowd was more rowdy, and there were more people coming. It got to a point when Joe DiMaggio actually left set angry, seething. He was absolutely pissed at this whole situation. So after that, unfortunately, less than a month later, it was announced to the public that Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe were to get a divorce.
Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio are presently having differences which they've thought about a separation.
So yeah, so it was really unfortunate, and that really did have an impact on her in the coming months. But we will get more into that in the next video. I know this was a lot. I am very excited to get into the 7-year itch. But before we do, y'all already know the deal. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification to stay in the loop. All right, everyone, it is time to grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and let's get into the 7-year itch. I'm so excited to be watching another Billy Wilder film. I know that this one he was very much restricted, but nonetheless, it's still a Billy Wilder film. And so I'm excited to see another one of his films.
Now we want you to meet a typical Manhattan husband whose family is leaving for the summer. This is Mr. Richard Sherman. This is his wife, Helen, and his son, Ricky.
So I've never been to New York City, let alone New York City in the summer. So I wonder, is it like, this is such a dumb question, but how hot does it get there? Like, what is considered like hot and humid in New York City? For those of you who live in New York City, let me know. I'd really like to know.
Goodbye, Helen.
Bye, darling.
Goodbye, Ricky.
He's kissing his helmet.
Take that thing off.
Mommy, shutting off my oxygen. Come on, we'll miss the train.
Again, loving all of the colors. Like, I love how colorful it is in these films. These more like comedic films of like the popping reds and the yellows. I just love the way it looks. No, do not follow them. You're married.
Not me. Train isn't even out of the station yet.
So Tom Ewell, he was actually the actor who perfected this role on the stage play. They actually asked him to come back and reprise the role in the film version. I always love when they have their actors from the stage play come and reprise their role, just because they've played this role now for, you know, however many performances that they did, so they really understand the character, right?
It's peaceful with everybody gone. No. What happened at the office today, darling? Well, I shot Mr. Brady in the head, made violent love to Miss Morris.
What?
And set fire to 300,000 copies of Little Women.
I kind of like that this story is being told through a series of soliloquies. Like, he's kind of carrying the exposition of this film thus far, and I think he's doing a really good job of it. You really do get the sense that this was a stage play, because I feel like this is more of this idea of like a monologue type is very much more like for the stage, but somehow it's really working in this film, which I haven't seen quite yet done in a classic film, but I really like that he's carrying the weight of this exposition. It is the beautiful neighbor.
Do you live in our building?
Yes, in the Kaufman's apartment. I took it for the summer while they're away in Europe.
He's already infatuated. Oh no, this could present a problem.
Don't laugh, Helen. But you might as well know that women have been throwing themselves at me for years. You asked for it. Take my secretary, for instance.
His wife's like, you're ridiculous. This is not really happening.
Come now, Miss Morris. What is the matter with you?
I'm in love with you. That's what's the matter with me. Deeply, madly, desperately, all-consumingly.
He's so stupid. This is so stupid. I love it.
I'm in love with you. I need you. I want you.
That will be all, Miss Morris.
Why? Why does he think that this is how women act around him? Oh my god, this is hilarious. Oh, poor Mrs. Morris. Even though that did not happen in real life.
The only extraordinary thing about you is your imagination.
Last winter, when I had my appendix out, do you happen to remember the nurse?
Richard.
Miss Finch, please.
This music that they're playing underneath this scene, or over this scene, it sounds really familiar. I thought it was Lawrence of Arabia, but I don't know.
Ethics. Once I had ethics.
This is so dramatic.
Miss Finch, I find it hard to believe that you have never noticed this simple band of gold.
This simple band of gold. He really does have an overactive imagination.
Miss Finch, you're forcing me to take measures to protect you from yourself.
Oh my god. Why is this so funny? Like, this is not true at all. This is totally not how women act around men that they find attractive. They make it seem like they're like just, they can't control themselves. Like, not even real.
Richard, you read too many books and see too many movies.
Let me tell you what happened with Elaine and me that weekend in Westport last summer.
What is this strange animal
This is so not real. What is this? What is this?
It's bothered me since the first time I saw you. And it'll bother me always. From here to eternity.
Oh! This is the music from Brief Encounter. Billy Wilder used Brief Encounter as inspiration to write The Apartment. Wow! Clearly, that cannot be a coincidence that this film is about infidelity, and he's using the music from Brief Encounter, which is about infidelity. So he must really love Brief Encounter. I don't know. That's crazy, though.
You must remember I belong to another.
Richard!
This can never be. As you know but too well, I have a wonderful, devoted, trusting wife at home.
Richard! He's like trying to run away from all these women. Look at him. He looks so stupid.
I also have tremendous strength of character.
And tremendous imagination. Lately, you've begun to imagine at CinemaScope with stereophonic sound.
That's hilarious because it's being shot in CinemaScope with stereophonic sound.
The repressed urge in the middle-aged male. Its roots and its consequences. Maybe a twist of lemon would help this.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that thing almost killed him.
Hey up there, what's the big idea? You want to kill somebody or something?
It's getting all mad.
What do you mean, what's the matter?
Oh, it's you.
It's like, oh, wait a second. It's like, don't worry about it.
How would you like to come down here and have a drink with me?
Let me just go put something on. When it's hot like this, you know what I do? I keep my undies in the icebox.
In the icebox?
See you in a minute.
So even though Marilyn is playing this bubbly blonde who's not all there again, it still feels different than any of the roles that we've seen her in prior. Like, I'm just thinking about like Lorelei Lee versus her character here. They still share the same qualities and attributes as Marilyn, but they're like different. They're distinct characters. And I think that just goes to show, again, Marilyn's versatility, but also how she's able to still have that Marilyn persona in these roles, just different variations of them. It's very, very fascinating to me.
Would you like to come down for a drink? Why, thanks. I'd love it. Oh, beautiful girl, too. Must be a model or actress or something.
A model or an actress or something. And it's Marilyn. That's funny.
Need a little atmosphere. What am I doing anyway? The first night Helen leaves and I'm bringing dames into the apartment.
I love that he grows a conscience. He like grows a conscience every now and then. He's like, wait a second, I have a wife and a kid. I can't be doing this. And then like it goes away. Like that's so funny.
This dame thinks she's coming down here for some kind of a big time or something. Well, she's in for a big surprise. One drink and out, that's all. I'm a happily married man, for Pete's sake. Maybe we ought to have a little soft music.
So Tom Ewell he's a very strong comedic actor. But the funny thing is, he's not trying to be funny. This is not like slapsticky. Though, yes, there are some things that are a little like goofy, but it's just, he's reciting his lines and it's just happening. It's like magic. And I really think that they chose the right man to play this role. Like, he's really funny.
Rachmaninoff.
Rachmaninoff.
Treatment.
She's going to the stars.
It makes it feel good, pimply all
What's going on? Oh my god, this is so dumb. I love his imagination. It's hilarious. He's just sitting there like thinking about it.
You came.
Yeah, I came for the rugs.
That's not her.
All right, Mr. Krahulik, pick him up tomorrow afternoon.
Going to the barber in the afternoon. Gonna take a shave, a haircut, manicure, the whole works. Maybe even a facial.
Ew, he's kind of creepy. Like, they're really creating this sense that it's hot in New York, and I'm feeling that heat. I'm like, can somebody get a fan going or something? Dang.
Do you know that maid from 531 Park with her big fat poodle?
Good night, Mr. Krahulik.
Big fat poodle.
I definitely love the inner struggle of his mind, where we get him being like, oh, this is terrible. How could people do this in the summer while their wives are away? But then in the second half, he's like, oh, but maybe I should, set the mood a little bit. Like, he's a very fun character, definitely.
Hi. You could have sued somebody. Me, probably. Well, not you, because you'd have been dead. But your lawyers could have. Oh, I feel just terrible.
Yes, she's great at doing the dramatic roles, and it is really cool to see her act in more of a dramatic character. But it's so great to see Marilyn and the Marilyn persona in a comedy, because it's just she knows how to make it funny. She knows how to keep it herself, but still make it funny for the audience, I just think it's hilarious.
This is a much nicer apartment than the Kaufman's. A stairway to nowhere. I think that's just elegant.
You see, this used to be a duplex. So when the landlord made 2 apartments out of it, he just boarded up the ceiling.
I like the way he makes the drink. Like, everything that Sherman does is so, it's funny. Like, the way he's making the way he's making her drink, where he's just like looking at her and not even paying attention to how he's making the drink. It's just funny. Like, there's a comedic aspect to it.
This feels just elegant. I tried to sleep in the bathtub, but there was something wrong with the faucet. It kept dripping. There I was with a perfectly strange plumber and no polish on my toenails. She's
so confident on screen. You would not for a second even think to yourself that she was going through anything behind the scenes. Like, she's so confident when she's on camera. It really truly is a love affair between her and the camera. She's just so fascinating. She's just such a fascinating person. I don't understand her at all. I don't get it.
This club I lived at before I moved in here. I was really glad when they kicked me out.
Well, why did they practically ask you to leave?
I posed for this picture. It was one of these artistic pictures.
I wonder if that's kind of like poking fun at the real life incident where Marilyn, prior to her being the star that she was in Hollywood, when she was more of a struggling actress, she posed nude for some pictures that ended up being in the first edition of Playboy, and the public went wild over that. And then she eventually had to apologize, but she was like, they were telling her to lie about it, and she was like, no, I'm gonna just tell them the truth. But I wonder if that joke was kind of like poking fun at that situation,
I bought myself a bottle of champagne. I've got a wonderful idea. Why don't I go upstairs and get it? We'll have a wonderful time. Shall I bring the potato chips too?
Sure, let's shoot the works.
I think another element of Billy Wilder, or another style that I've noticed, at least with the other film that I watched of him, is that he takes these characters, these male characters that are kind of shaded in the crowd, not really striking type men. And I'm thinking about Jack Lemmon, right? He takes them, and somehow the way that he writes the characters, he somehow makes them they're very appealing to the audience. I don't know, I'm definitely feeling that charm from Sherman.
The human body.
And of course, he has an edition of US camera. He took that second look. When the music changes, it's something. Say.
There she goes.
Boy, you sure got powerful thumbs.
Oh.
Quick, the glasses. Seems to be stuck.
That's silly. Just give it a good yank.
I am definitely getting a lot of the innuendos of this film. It's not to the point where it's whoa, that's what they're talking about, but it's very subtly suggestive that they're hinting at more very subtle sexual undertones. So you're kind of left thinking is that what they're talking about, or is it not what they're talking about? But it kind of adds again to the comedic aspect of this film. It's really funny so far. Ooh, that looks like it hurts. Oh no.
You're married.
Oh.
I am? Yes, I am.
You know, I would have liked to see what Wilder would have done had he had more freedom with this film. Like, I would have liked to see how his own personal take on it, because like in The Apartment, it was such a good film because there was that like darker twist to it. And I know that just in my research, I know that he wanted to put more of a darker twist into this film. And I think if he had the freedom to do so, it would have been even better, you know, even more intriguing and more exciting to watch.
Are you sure you want to waste your champagne now that you know that I'm married?
I mean, I wouldn't be lying on the floor in the middle of the night in some man's apartment drinking champagne if he wasn't married.
That's a very interesting line of reasoning.
She's totally oblivious to the fact that she's like this absolutely gorgeous woman and all these men like want to marry her and want to be with her. She's totally oblivious to that. It kind of makes me sad, but it also adds to it, like, it makes it more funny because it's like you don't even realize that you're like drop dead gorgeous and all these men are after you because you're beautiful. Like, that's so funny.
That's the wonderful part about being with a married man. No matter what happens, he can't possibly ask you to marry him because he's married already, right?
Right.
There you go. That makes sense. It's a very interesting way to think about it, but it makes sense.
You look to me like a big Rachmaninoff girl.
That's funny, because I don't know anything about music. Hey, did you ever try dunking a potato chip in champagne? It's real crazy. Here.
I wonder if they had a chance to ad-lib any of these, because it does feel like there's certain scenes that feels like maybe it wasn't completely scripted, or the characters kind of had a chance to be playful with it. And definitely this potato chip scene where she's like dunking the potato chip in his champagne glass and feeding it to him. I don't know if that's like scripted or not, but it feels very playful and it feels like it might have been ad-libbed. I don't know, but I just wonder if they had a chance to ad-lib some of these scenes.
Maybe we better send Rachmaninoff to the showers.
Do you play the piano?
Chopsticks. Whenever I hear this song, I think of the movie Big with Tom Hanks, and that scene where he's playing the big piano.
Chopsticks! I can play that too. Shove over. Hey, wait a minute!
Wait a minute! She's like, hold on now.
Nothing like this ever happened to me before in all of my life.
Honest? Happens to me all the time.
Please go. I must insist.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, poor thing. But I mean, he was about to pounce, so she needed to go.
I want 2 weeks off. My wife and young son are in the country, and I want to join them.
Well, that's impossible, Sherman. This is our busy season. We're preparing our fall list.
He wants to leave. He's like, I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to get out of here.
Well, wait till you've been married as long as I have. Shipped Mrs. Betty and the kids to Nantucket yesterday afternoon. And I haven't been to bed since. Oh!
I love that, like, these men act as, like, little boys or, like, go and party all the time. He's like, I haven't slept since my wife left. Like, that is so freaking hilarious.
Chapter 6. The Brubaker-Stichel theory of the sporadic infidelity pattern in the married male, or the 7-year itch, rises sharply during the 7th year of marriage.
So basically the 7-year itch is like during the 7th year of a man's marriage. That's when he starts to kind of get cold feet or want to stray from his marriage. That's the 7-year itch.
Oh, Dr. Brubaker. What is it, Doctor? What are you looking at?
Nothing. Dark clouds gathering on the psychic horizon.
And you psychiatrists start making a federal case out of it.
I wanted to say that Oscar Homolka, he's really handsome. Wow. In the face, he kind of reminds me of like an older Chris Hemsworth. It sounds crazy, but he really looks like Chris Hemsworth if Chris Hemsworth was like maybe in his like late 50s, early 60s. Very handsome man.
You wouldn't believe this, but last night I found myself terrorizing a young lady. Doctor, I'm in serious trouble. I'm married.
He's like starting to psychoanalyze him. Oh my God. He's like, I'm having this issue and I need help.
Here, Doctor. I brought this with me. That's her. Her hair was a little longer then.
He has to clean his glasses just to make sure he's seeing it right.
It's called textures. Because you can see the three different textures, the driftwood, the sand, and her. It got honorable mention.
Splendid. I congratulate you on your good taste.
Usually when they're showing something to the camera, they give you like a good 10 seconds of it just to really see it, you know? But there, they gave us maybe like 3 seconds to see it, and I wonder if that's because of censorships. I don't know, maybe it's just because they wanted to let you see it really quickly and be done. But yeah, it was a lot quicker than what they usually allow us to see.
Suppose this girl tells somebody about this. Oh, if she tells anybody about this, I'll kill her. I'll kill her with my bare hands.
A possible solution.
I wonder if there are some jokes in this that might be going over my head, just because there's some things that I don't get in terms of like the time. Like, it's just something must have happened at that time that was like they're joking about it then. I don't know. So if you guys know any more about like some of the inside jokes in this film, please let me know. I would really be interested to know more about some of the jokes that they're telling.
This is going to be all over New York.
Then he made me play chopsticks. He was frothing at the mouth, just like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
This is funny.
Big blabbermouth.
Then he lured her down into his apartment, pretended he wasn't married.
There's a lot more movement in this camera, just with like the pan away, like he's panning away to like show you like the daydream sequence, and then he's coming back. He's following the characters as they're moving in the scene, and I really like that use of movement in the camera. I think it's really engaging for the audience just to kind of be able to see, you know, move. Their eyes were like moving with the characters in the scene. So yeah, I just think that's cool.
50 million television sets in America.
I want to warn all you girls and women of New York.
They're talking about Daddy on television.
Just like the creature from the Black Lagoon.
A lot of the things that he, like, the way that he thinks, I'm sure that a lot of us think like that when we're panicking or when we're having like a moment of like, oh my God, this is going to happen, XYZ. Like, we're making up scenarios in our mind. It's so great that we're able to look into his mind and kind of share that experience with him. It just adds to really just the interactiveness with the audience. Like, we as the audience get to interact with this character. So yeah, I really like that they do that.
Why, the minute I heard her voice, I could tell if she knew anything. With whom is she on a hayride? Mr. Mackenzie and some people? What was the message? Oh, Ricky's paddle.
He's all happy that his wife has no idea that he tried to cheat on her the night before.
Hey!
He's like, no.
Good evening.
I just washed my hair.
That's nice. Goodbye.
It's like, why do I care about that? Goodbye. Oh, she just wants like a friend. He's dancing his pants off, literally.
If she was washing her hair for me, is she kidding?
She was not washing her hair for you, sir. I can assure you that.
One thing I can't figure out, though, what is she doing on a hayride with Tom Mackenzie? No woman is safe around a guy who writes stuff like that, especially not on a hayride.
Oh my God, no, he is not thinking about this. This is not happening.
Tom, I'm afraid.
Pulsating, striving. Now together. Ending and unending. Now. Now. Now.
Oh my God, he's so funny.
Hi. Did you know you left your tomato plant down here last night? Or maybe if you'd like to have dinner?
Literally, he just said, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna talk to this woman. And now he's about to take her out to dinner. Oh no. This can only end very poorly. It's the iconic Marilyn scene. Oh my God, I gotta sit up for this.
Didn't you just love the picture? I did.
This is like the scene, well, the first thing you think of when you think of Marilyn Monroe. This is what you think of, this moment. And we're about to experience it right now. I cannot wait.
Oh, do you feel the breeze from the subway? Isn't it delicious?
Isn't it delicious?
Sort of cools the ankles, doesn't it?
I think the sad thing about this is, while the rest of the world, we all remember this moment as the moment that Marilyn became an icon, like a legendary icon. The white dress, the smile, her dress, you know, blowing in the wind. But you forget that at the same time, this is the moment when her second her second marriage crumbles. So it's kind of a sad reality.
Oh, here comes another one.
You don't get any sense at all in her movies that she was struggling so terribly in her personal life, you know, with her marriage and her insecurities about her acting. You don't get any of that on screen. It's like it literally melts away. Like she's literally like, that's something I can't wrap my mind around. I still can't really fathom it because it really feels like I'm reading about one person, but I'm watching a completely different person. It's like, it's so strange to me that she just is a completely different person, you know, on screen. Just, it's beyond me. It's so fascinating.
He'll never know because I stay kissing sweet the new Dazzle Dent way. Before I go to all the trouble of switching brands, I want to make absolutely certain.
I'm telling you, there's something about the way that Billy Wilder writes his male characters that, like, at first they're like the type of characters that are like, you wouldn't really think about them. And then suddenly they're these charming, appealing, dare I even say somewhat attractive men that you're suddenly like, why do I find this man attractive? Like, how? I don't know how Wilder does it, but he does it. It's working. It's working.
I'll bet it was 95 in the bedroom last night. Like an oven.
Poor kid. It's awful.
Good night.
Of course, if you wanted to drop by my place for a few minutes.
I could just imagine, like, how hot, first of all, it already probably is in New York, and then it's humid, but then it's dense, right? Because there's a lot of people. So I just imagine, like, the heat and, like, not having any space to be able to kind of just feel the air on you. Oh, no. I very much don't like that.
I've been thinking about it, and
Yes?
I'd like to stay here with you tonight.
He's like, huh?
I'd like to sleep here.
And he has no idea that she's literally, this whole thought process is, it's hot in my apartment, and you have a nice air-conditioned apartment. Maybe I can just stay the night here because it's nice and cool. No one has to know about it, you know? And he's thinking all this psychoanalysis about the human mind, and you did it because you're in love with me, and all this other junk that's not true at all.
Of course you can sleep here.
He's like, of course you can sleep
After all, we're
here.
not savages. We're civilized people.
Oh, thank you.
I think if they were to have her more, like, you know, aware of the fact that she was this beautiful woman having this effect on men, it would be, there wouldn't be a lot of room for comedy. Like, it would still be, you could still make it funny, but I just think in this sense, the bubbly Marilyn really, really works for this film. Just sheerly because of, it brings a new level of comedy.
What is it, Mr. Krahulik? Why don't you come back tomorrow, early?
I didn't quite understand the situation.
What situation?
Why is he so creepy? Like, his facial expressions are so creepy.
Go, man, go.
Just a minute, Mr. Krahulik. I would like to explain this. This may seem unusual to you, but actually it's the most natural thing in the world.
I'll say.
Was he like a voice actor or something? Because his voice sounds really familiar, but also he's very animated, so I feel like he's worked in in animation at some point. So if you know more about this actor, I don't know his name, please let me know.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, hello.
Ew, he's so creepy.
Isn't she a living doll?
Ew. He's so scary.
You can help her take the tomato plant right back upstairs. It's right out here on the terrace.
My apologies to you, dear lady. What a dog.
Right out here, Mr. Krahulik.
He's like, what a dog. Like, ew. His voice is so creepy, but it works in this situation. Oh my goodness.
Well, good night.
Good night. I'm sorry, but you can see how it is.
I understand. No man's an island.
Her character is really sweet, and like her naivety and her innocence really gives her like this almost like sweet feel. Like she's not malicious and she's not trying to be like enticing for this man. She truly is just a woman who's renting out an apartment for the summer, and you know, she's just being herself. So yeah, I really like their character dynamic, but I also really like Marilyn's character in this. Like, she's just very playful. She's very herself. There's nothing malicious about her character. Oh, she found a way through the boarded up area.
Hi!
Oh my god, oh no.
It was so easy. I just pulled out the nails.
There really is every single opportunity for him to 100% be unfaithful to his wife.
Hi, good morning. Just taking a shower. Be out in a minute.
Boy, if anybody were to walk in here right now, would they ever get the wrong idea?
Oh no.
Who's gonna walk in here?
Your wife? Helen?
She's in Maine. How could she get here? On the early morning train.
All these scenarios.
Now.
Oh, you know what I just realized as he's talking about it coming home on a train? That's another kind of, that could be construed as another connection to Brief Encounter. So I think that's kind of funny that there's another connection there.
She's on her way here in a cab. She'll be here any second.
She's on her way here in a cab. Oh my god. Oh, she has a gun. I love his scenarios.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to shoot you dead.
So I let her sleep in our bed because it's too hot up there. Miss Helen, I was just wrapping the battle.
Richard.
I was just wrapping the battle.
There's such a thing as the unwritten law. Goodbye, Richard.
He has a very colorful, very fun imagination.
If Helen came in here and found you in the shower, you know what she'd probably think? She'd probably think you were the plumber.
A blonde plumber?
Absolutely. She trusts me implicitly.
This conversation kind of reminds me of the situation in Brief Encounter. There's so many connections between this film and Brief Encounter, but it reminds me of when Celia Johnson's character wanted to tell her husband about what was going on with Trevor Howard's character. And it was almost like, it's not that he just, like, I remember saying something like, it was just so taboo to, like, cheat on your wife. Or maybe he just had so much trust in her that he didn't think to himself that she was cheating on him. This reminds me of that in that film, where, like, Helen is like, there's no way that he could cheat on me, you know? So I just wonder if that's another connection made between Brief Encounter and this film.
No pretty girl in her right mind wants me. She wants Gregory Peck.
You think a girl goes to a party and there's some guy giving you that, I'm so handsome you can't resist me look?
Here she comes again. Here her character comes again with that little sliver of wisdom at the very end of the film, where it's like, this whole time you thought she was this bubbly blonde that didn't have a care in the world or didn't think about anything serious, and then she comes in with that little sliver of wisdom at the end, like lays it right on you. Here it is again.
Well, she doesn't fall on her face. But there's another guy in the room. Nice and sweet. That's what's really exciting.
That is so kind of sweet, not gonna lie. She's saying, like, not every woman wants, you know, the most attractive man in the room. Some women like the shy, nervous guy that she knows is gonna be very, like, tender with her. Like, the wisdom in her characters. I live for it.
You get out of here. And you tell Helen if she sent you to get a divorce.
A divorce?
I absolutely refuse.
Helen didn't send me for a divorce. She sent me for Ricky's paddle.
All Helen has wanted this entire movie is his little son's paddle. That's literally all she's wanted. And he's here making all these scenarios about how she wants to kill him, how she's cheating on him. Like, all she wants is Ricky's paddle. Just give her Ricky's paddle. Oh my goodness.
Because I can explain everything. The stairs, the cinnamon toast, the blonde in the kitchen.
Now, wait a minute, Dickie boy. Let's just take it easy. What blonde in the kitchen?
Maybe it's Marilyn Monroe.
There's another joke. Maybe it's Marilyn Monroe. That's funny.
I'll do anything, but no divorce.
Listen to me. Listen. Helen does not want a divorce. All she wants is Ricky's paddle.
He's literally me. I'm like, she just wants Ricky's paddle. That's all she wants.
Helen loves me.
Sure she loves you.
And you know why she loves me? She loves me because I'm sweet and gentle and worried and nervous and shy and tender.
Oh, what? Wow, he just punched him. Oh my god. For absolutely no reason.
I can still make the 847. And why don't you stay right here? It's all yours. I guess that's all.
If she thinks that's cranberry sauce, tell her she's got cherry pits in her head.
Ooh! Even though he is married, and that's, you know, it's okay. It's fun. Oh, what a cute little ending to this movie. Wow. Oh, that was fun. That was a cute ending. Like, that was really sweet. I really liked this film. Mostly just because of the playfulness of it. We got to see, like, I feel like at this point, this film was really just like the iconic Marilyn. You know, there was no sauce put on it. There was no extra. It was just her in her natural elements. You know, she really shined on camera this time around. And you can tell she was having fun with this character. Very playful, very bubbly. For this specific role, I think that the ditzy bubbly blonde worked at this point just because of the comedic factor that it brought. Like I said, if she was more like Shotzi from How to Marry a Millionaire, it wouldn't have been as funny. So I think the iconic Marilyn worked for this. Again, Billy Wilder, even though he was, you know, restricted with a lot of the things he could do with this film, he still brought that signature Wilder feel to it. And I love that a lot of this film had a lot of connection with Brief Encounter. I really feel like that might have been like his movie. Like, he just saw it and he was like, that's the one, that's the movie. Overall, I think that I would definitely give this film, I think I would give it like maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. It was really fun. Definitely recommend it for people who want something, like I said, you know, refreshing, something new, but something old too. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching it with me. All right, everyone, that does it for this video. As always, if you liked it as much as I did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification to stay in the loop. Okay, so in the next video, we are going to be watching another of Marilyn's more dramatic roles, which I'm excited to see. We are going to be watching Bus Stop. I'm very excited to watch this. As always, if you haven't seen Bus Stop, please give it a look either in its entirety or check out a quick synopsis of it online. Then come back with all your movie facts and your movie insights, and we are going to talk about it in the comments. I'm so excited. If you have any recommendations of any classic Hollywood era films, check out the recommendation form in the description box below. Also, feel free to recommend in the comments. I know that you guys like to talk about it in the comments, so please feel free to recommend in the comments. Thank you to all the viewers and the subscribers. Thank you all so much for watching. This is always so much fun to do with all of you. Please stay safe and healthy out there, everyone, and I will see all of you in the next video. Bye, everybody.